Welcome back, guys, to the infamous Performance Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the last shows. Just going on to our iTunes podcast channel. If you go to my link, it's all sorted and done, but they might have missed a couple of episodes from the previous. It was a iTunes glitch that happened, so technical glitch. So they're all there ready for you to listen if you are listening to more of the audio. Otherwise, get on YouTube and have a look at us on here. If you are on iTunes, please put a review now, guys. It'd help us out massively, trying to pick things up and get more people in listening. Tell more people about the goodness we're giving you and all the truth and knowledge. So today we've got my friend Richard.
How you doing, guys?
Richard Brockhurst. Another long-term friend. All these guests of mine. Hey,
where are my guests?
Yeah, we bring some of Ben's guests, but they're still in nappies.
I'm an adopted.
You're an adopted guest of mine.
But yeah, so our show is based on today on Richard's gym and how it's
training history
with me, and how it's transferred through the lockdown, going from a traditional CrossFit gym, coming out of CrossFit into an ID gym, where you're getting more bang for your buck, shall we say?
Yeah, I think the best place to start is the beginning, because you got a pretty cool.
How did we meet?
Yeah, before
that's
you got
a
golf background like Joe, and that's another link.
Yeah, so if you looked at our episode 4 with Joe Miller, in his a long driver, he introduced me to Richard up at my old fancy, the Works gym. That's where we first met, wasn't it?
That's it, mate. Yeah. So I knew Joe Miller. I must have been 17, 18. So, when I first met him, and yeah, back then, I mean, I'm still skinny. I still see myself as skinny now, but he was proper skinny. Then I was working at the Buckinghamshire Golf Club, and I just said, "Oi, Rich!" I looked down the drive, and there's an absolute monster at the end. I was like, "Oh, shit, I owe someone money." So I did not recognise him from the distance, and as he was getting closer, he's like, "You alright, mate?" I still didn't recognise him, and I got close. I was like, "You allowed to swear on this?"
Yeah, let it flow, man. It's not for children.
It's just like, fuck me, Joe Miller, and he was absolutely like huge, and he was there for the long drive thing, because we kind of disconnected a little bit over the years. And yeah, so I was then around like early 20s, and I was just like, "How have you got so big?" Well, I wasn't interested in his golf story. I was just like, "How have you got so big?"
Yeah,
I could not believe the body transformation. And I was just like, "Yeah, well, I want a bit of that.
I want some of that.
But yeah,
And that's when he brought you up to the Works.
And I need to fill out this polo sleeve. So yeah, then he invited me up the Works. And yeah, what a baptism of fire that was.
Yeah,
that was.
It's the start of your.
Was that the start? That was the start of your training, right? Because you were golfing before that.
Gym stuff, like non-existent before that. The era I was in golf, it just started to creep in, but it was bands and Swiss balls. It wasn't training.
Polo necks and being on the course.
Space hoppers. But yeah, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like, you look at the golfers now, I mean, Joe will be part of what's shifting that, in the myth that you can't be big and flexible, you don't have the feel if you like, because what people don't realise about Joe, he's actually a really good golfer as well.
Yeah,
he doesn't just hit it a long way. But yeah, so the mindset's changed. But yeah, my reason for getting in the gym wasn't golf related. It was
just
I want to look good.
Sheer size.
I want to look good.
Purely that.
I think that's a lot of people's first reason to get into the gym.
Yeah.
Just want to look good, feel good, get bigger and stronger.
Look, we all know that if you're getting stronger, getting bigger, you're looking good. That's going to make you feel good.
Yeah. I think. I mean, we're obviously going to go into more in depth of all of this, but I think what was wrong with how I got into it was like the respecting the path kind of thing. I just wanted the muscle on so quickly, and I was just like pulling weight with some bad form.
Well, I think that's what the introduction to everything now, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas now, like, if you go to, internet, like, it's just got so many good resources on it. But if you've got the patience, like, there's good or better principles out there now.
Well, it's like
Easily
everything
accessible.
which we've mentioned in previous podcasts. Like, you get the highlights of all the good stuff, but you don't get the highlights of how to get there, because it's pretty long-winded and it's time-consuming with basic work and
It's
building up.
not sexy, is it?
It's not sexy, yeah. It's hard graft and it builds up to then you look spectacular on the Instagrams and stuff like that. So we know it's a long road, and everyone wants that quick fix. They want that quick pill. Yeah, give me this and here we go. But we know it's a long grind.
I think that's a big thing that CrossFit like got on the bandwagon of, to like the quick transformation you can have.
Oh yeah,
and
I think once we'll come into that, but how we
you opened
went from that, and how we up at the works doing the strength training, and how we both sort of like fell into the CrossFit element at the same time. I know I found it just by sitting on YouTube and finding the CrossFit 2011 CrossFit Games and watching that and thinking, fucking hell, this is what I'm meant to do. Look, these guys are jacked, they're ripped, they're lifting heavy weights, they're running, they're moving, everything that I love about fitness combined. And I thought that was it.
It must have been definitely like a baptism of fire going to the work, because as you said to me, like the people you're around, the knowledge, and
Talk
what
about
was the works like.
It was a very intimidating place for a skinny, weak dude to walk into. And meeting Tris behind front desk, like I was pretty taken back by it, because I hadn't been around that environment. Like growing up in golf, it's like mummy's boys. So
mummy drives you to the course.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
leaves you with a packet of sandwiches and then picks you up.
And on the way dropping you off, you look at them and you go, "They're the boys you don't want to hang around with." And they're the boys in the gym.
Pretty much.
There they are. They're in the gym.
No, but what a welcoming place.
It was
once you like show face in there, and I think again, like, you show someone consistent, like you're going to consistently turn up, you earn the respect of the people in there, no matter what level they're at.
Yeah.
Because that's what they respect. They respect, like, are you going to do this properly?
Right. Effort. It's just effort, even though you might not be able to.
And then that's it. Like, back then when there was so many big guys in that gym, it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter. Once you start turning up through that door, that's like you say, you earn the respect. People see, right, this guy's on that same. Everyone started there in that same pattern. You know what I mean? We all walk through that door like, oh my god, this is so fucking. But then once you get in there and you start growing and you build with the community at the gym, that's it. And people honour you for that.
And there are life lessons there. Like the people, like this, that place was built by the people.
Yeah,
there was
without doubt.
I mean, you'll know better than me, but the owner of that gym wasn't invested in the same way as like we.
So
do you know what I mean? Like,
so like the owner before was who made it, but then once he sold it to the other owner, you could see that person wasn't in the gym. It was a business.
It was the people that made the
culture. It was the people in there that made it. It was the people that built that gym.
It's definitely an interesting point. Like, could you see us as, like, now we're coaches and we'll get onto the coaching thing now, but as you said, it all started at that. It might have been less intimidating to go to your general leisure centre for us, but then there's always a place that will put you out of your comfort zone.
And you still see this with CrossFit gyms. You see people coming in, and the saying you always hear when people want to go to a new gym, they go, "I'm just going to get fit first." And I'm like, that makes no sense. You get fit by going in that gym.
And you can see why people think it, because
they don't want to stand out, do they?
Yeah,
they don't want to stand out. But then once you're there,
I've heard that story so many times, and it's unfortunate that the industry creates that kind of perception that that's how it has to be for you to get fit.
But you just get yourself through the door, and if you've got good people in there, that's it. It's going to carry it for you.
And there's also, like, the lesson is, like, don't judge a book by its cover, because just because people look a certain way doesn't mean that they don't. I think that's, like, to be honest with you, like, fast forward into where I am now, the biggest thing I try and do with our business is undo the perceptions of what a PT trainer is or a coach is. Like we're way more balanced in our mindset than what the perception of like a PT is. Like I don't eat just lettuce leaves and chicken, and we've got way.
No, there's way more to it, and we've I think that takes us nicely onto the coaching. Like you said, like obviously you own this lovely space that we're in now, but you've got a history of like golf strength training. When did the coaching start?
Well, if we quickly run into so we done our level 1 together. That's what got us into the CrossFit side of it.
Yeah, so I think the training switch is the interesting one because it happened before that, didn't it? So on a personal level, I started to get bored of the bodybuilding, just trying to move a pin down on the machines and just get a few extra kilos, and
that's why when I done my bodybuilding show, that was it. I lost I was like, right, what do I do now?
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that I never hit the heights of where you were at.
You still got the respect, as you said, for sure. Turning up, you think that I'm
going to put you on the spot now. Did I get big?
You got all right. You got to a point where you could take your top off and be proud.
Filled that medium shirt up nicely. I got fairly big, but I didn't have the sticking power for. I didn't fall in love with bodybuilding. Yeah, I didn't. It didn't fully grab me.
Because you still had really your main love was golf, still, wasn't it? So
getting quite kind of like one-dimensional in your movement patterns never really appealed to me. So I think then when I still remember the day of how it all started. So unfortunately I've forgotten his name. It's the dude that he was involved with the rugby guys, but he used to run his own. So he came running down the stairs with chains around his neck.
It's not Dean or Craig? Was it the two brothers?
They were the two brothers, but it was the guy that ended up moving back home.
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, he moved to Tanzania.
That's it.
Yeah. So, because at that time, me and Joe were doing circuit training at the weekends, and that was coming off my MMA background. So we were doing like more MMA style caveman training, as it was called, like hard circuits, which was basically CrossFit.
And that's I saw that, and he ran back up, and I followed him up, and I was doing some bench downstairs or whatever, and I just saw the two of you in this mad circuit, and I just watched you finish it. I stopped doing what I was doing, watched you finish it, and I spoke to you afterwards because I was still a bit like not as close as we are now, obviously. So I was a bit tentative about asking. I was like, "Is it all right if I join your next one?" And you looked at me and you were like, Are you sure you want to do it? It's like it's pretty brutal.
Didn't think you got big enough. Didn't think you.
Mate, I turned up.
You turned up,
and I've never had that feeling in my legs before.
Yeah.
Never had that feeling in my chest, lung, like the burn. I just felt weak and unfit. I was like, I can't have that. I'm gonna take that on.
You go back.
Yeah, just went back, and then we started watching these videos, didn't we?
Yeah.
Started watching the CrossFit videos online, and that was when I saw the physique. But then, because of my golf background of like being like really meticulous on improving technique, there was so much stuff there, like movement stuff. I was like, man, that looks so cool.
Yeah, you were definitely on more that precision of technique, where I was all fucking ego.
Just hammer shit.
I was like,
that's background, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's the background. You know, coming from the fighter background, you need that ego. That's going to carry you in. You know, and even with the bodybuilding, like obviously there's a big group of guys. Like there was my mate Simon, who me and him used to be very competitive against each other on bench press. It was always, and my mate Big Mo. There's loads of people from that gym who we all had that competitiveness with. So there was always that ego thing there. So yeah, I obviously carried that into my beginning of CrossFit, which wasn't a good thing to do. You know.
No, I mean, there's positives and negatives, but I think that's what I saw as the good side of it. Is it highlighted that in you? It's not. It taught you that about yourself. But for me, there's a list of so rather than just adding weight, there was a list of movements I couldn't do. And going back to what you were just saying before we started this, like you went in the gym, you went in chest and arms. I went in the gym initially wanting a bigger, stronger back and arms, and rather than that being the goal, it was like, I want to do ring muscle ups. I want to do handstand push ups. I want to do an overhead squat. I want to snap. It was just ticking off. It was a completely different focus.
Yeah.
And the learning process of going through that, of what it taught you, and again, similar to like how we started everything else, you just learn, like you learn it off your own back.
Yeah,
you learn the hard way.
Like back then, like we're looking like going into 2012 now, aren't we? Like we're really picking things up with it, and there was no coaches around to go and confining, or if there was, and there was
Too far to go. Right?
too far to go. I can't remember his name. One up in Manchester, he was good.
Craig Messi.
Is it Craig? Yeah, he's been there.
On a train.
He's been there from the start.
It's 3D. What's it? 3D.
I can't remember his name, but there's some good coaches there, but he was just not around. So you was just left up to, and being in a bodybuilding gym, we was just left to our own devices to learn these men, like
Putting holes in the floor with metal plates.
putting holes in the floor,
Snatching with just 45s.
snatching with metal bars with no bearings and metal weights.
Do Fran with metal plates.
Yeah, it's a different feeling, man.
Jesus.
It was a different
Setting up
feeling.
rings in an awkward position.
Yeah.
But we got the muscle up fairly quick though.
Yeah.
That was one good
And
thing.
I think
that's
that's what like me and you have spoken about loads. A lot of people getting into CrossFit haven't got that bodybuilding background, and it's no good.
It's a base build.
Yeah, it's
You need a base.
So then we did our level ones together.
It's a good experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Doing Fran.
You
They
do
don't
Fran
do,
and you level
they
one.
don't do it now, but
Well,
yeah,
hell,
Fran
hell
then.
no, I can see
Yeah.
why.
Fuck, I remember. I think that one took me about 6 minutes that day.
Yeah.
So I think my best was about 4 when I first done it with the metal plates, and then we done it there.
Different.
And I was
stimulus
just
to that
like,
now,
I was
but-
looking at Rich, going, Rich, I'm fucked.
I was saying to you, I swear some people have then done 963. There's no way that guy's done 21:15.9.
Yeah.
CrossFit OG, cheating the way through it. Fuck.
No, it was good. It was good. I think. Yeah, I mean we.
Done it.
You can look at the positives and negatives, but for us, like a platform to kick on from. That's like going back to what you're saying, Ben. Like, when did the coaching start? I used to coach golf, so I've always been a coach in terms of like what's been natural to me. Started at 18 years old coaching golf, all the way up until probably like 24, 25, 26. And then when I was spending more time in the gym, like my eye was trained to see movement. So once I understood the movement,
Small movements.
I just applied the same kind of principles of like how I teach someone. So ground up, set up, movement pattern. So I felt like I took naturally to, and it's in my nature to help other people. Like my brother was very good at golf, and he was better than me.
I was waiting for that.
But I coached. I was his first coach. So he learned how to play golf from me. So I've always found it like a natural way of mine to want to help someone. So the CrossFit path of like getting into coaching, it just seemed like a natural.
It's always
step.
been part of it. But then you like when because I know we've spoken about this. When was the age you did the CrossFit coaching, like CrossFit level 1?
Like how old was I?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
2012 we done it, didn't we? Level 1.
Yeah, so I would have been like 30.
So because I know we've spoken that change
Yeah,
of like
I was
career.
I was
and, like,
32, 31, 32.
Oh, so I've been 29.
Yeah, you was in your 20s.
29, 30.
There's like quite a interesting shift like to almost you're not relearning something, but because you've coached in a different way, but it's just a completely different format of coaching.
Oh yeah.
And you like going into it as I say older, but like a little bit later than anything before.
Yeah, there was crossover, but it was a risk because ditching that much of my background of what I just knew golf because I grew up in it. I never really felt like I studied it. I was just like around people, listening, talking, asking questions, and it was just what I did. So that kind of banking of knowledge was from experience. Whereas like I fell out of love with the game on a competitive level, but then I also was like, I'm just done. Like I want different experiences now. I want to meet people, because it is it's a bubble. Like as most things are, it's a real bubble. I was like, I want to break out of it. Like, I want some new experiences. But I think, I remember the feeling of the risk, but there was more excitement than risk. I was like, man, I'm looking forward to getting into this. I remember getting my level 1 and being nervous, like, am I going to pass it? Like waiting for that result.
Just to take
we'll just jump in here and go, I failed it. I fucking failed it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's a flaw in it, if I'm honest. We'll go into that a lot deeper, but yeah, I also came out of that, and I look back now, I was so pleased to get it, because it gave me the platform to kick on from.
But we still know it's not a lot. It really doesn't value. The level 1 really doesn't value you as a coach.
Well,
I think
it's a weekend, and now you can open a gym.
That's the problem, is that you can then go off on your own and open a gym. But what I think it is really directed is right now you can be a coach in the gym, but really now you need to be mentored by someone who's got a lot more experience and pull you through the CrossFit coach element. That's what I think it's meant to be. But in England that time there was no CrossFit gyms, so it was people doing a weekend course, opening up a CrossFit box, and then just thinking they knew CrossFit. And then that's where we can just see over the years the difference in programming and the actual CrossFit itself changed.
The way it's changed. Definitely. No, I think that's like a lot of people. It's quite a bold step at, say, 30, even though you're not old, and we'll get on to another. You've made another bold move in recent years, as you said to me. But yeah, I think people are just like scared to make that change, because it is a huge change. Because you said you were open-minded enough to realise you'd stagnated within fulfilment in what you were doing. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I just need to change my environment. You realise a product of the environment, just change that. And
I think another factor is that in golf you meet so many people from different walks of life, and like the upbringing I had and what I was exposed to, most people were doing the safe choice, whereas being in golf and seeing like self-made businessmen, and the common thing I saw mainly amongst all of them was that they'd all taken a risk at some point. So I was just like, yeah, what's the worst that can happen? Like you don't get anywhere without putting yourself in a position to find out whether you can get there. So yeah, I'd failed at something previous to setting up. Setting up this business now. Like I had a golf events business. I opened that in the is it 2008 crash financial crash?
Yeah, between it started 2008 into 2009.
Started at mid-crash.
Yeah, I started in the
that is a bold move.
Now I'm in another crash. But
yeah.
Oh shit! Oh, don't say that. Oh god.
But yeah, I was just like, let's do it. Let's go.
Well, then you got into just coaching CrossFit, right? Well, both of you like went a
different
way.
So when me and Rich were training CrossFit back at the bodybuilding gym, the Works, was doing that for a while. But then his brother obviously got into CrossFit as well, and he became a coach, and he started coaching down at CrossFit Holloway. Yeah. So that's when we were starting to do like day trips down there now and then started that, and then that's where it took your career further on from there, didn't it?
Yeah. So the owner of that opened one in Kilburn. And
he opened up another one in Kilburn, so you got coaching there.
I took the position there, and then I think what started to happen was I started to see the flaws in the whole CrossFit model. Yeah. Because it was only once I started being put at the forefront of like delivering it to people, I was just like, hang on a minute. This
doesn't match the people that are in front of me.
This is not right. So we started our own gym. Me and my brother, and a coach that I'd met that became a friend, Caspar. We started Free Aces based off of like kind of morning breakfast chats and like around like how can we do it better? These are the problems. What would we do about it? And just kind of like take that next step on. But also at the same time, I always had it in my vision. When I got my level 1, I called my brother straight away and said, one day we'll have a gym. We'd had conversations about it
as soon as we've done that level 1, it was like, the whole dream is to have our own gym, because we wanted to be able to drop some barbells.
not break floors of milk.
Because we couldn't drop them in the gym we were, so we were learning to snatch and clean, and it was like, fucking hell, this is hard work trying to place the bar down. That was the main dream, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the reality was how hard it was to find space, especially in North.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at any of the London areas, you're looking at unrealistic prices, and then you're looking at small places, and then it is hard. And now it's just like near enough impossible. I think now
it's all development, and when you were working at Kilburn, right? Because you spoke, like you mentioned, like mentors and having people around you in the golfing world, and like when you stepped into the strength training world, do you have that in Kilburn in terms of the coaching world? Or just in like the CrossFit coaching world in a sense?
I'd say before that, like Trish was definitely like that to me, because he was someone I looked up to. Had been in, so my time in golf, he'd had that time in training. So he was, and like you're saying, I had whatever I'm into, I'm trying to find that person that knows more than I do, and I'm that annoying person that asks questions. So
how many fucking questions did he ask you?
He was just
constantly.
Yeah, but
that's a good thing.
But everyone, when I was at the gym, everyone did anyway.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It was the normal thing for me, so it was normal.
Part of learning, right?
Yeah, it was full of people with that passion, but they're not getting into. I think, to be honest with you, I've never been fully bought in on CrossFit. Fully.
You said saw the faults straight away.
Yeah,
like the holes that it creates, and now slowly over time it's getting more rounded as a sport. There's still things that are potentially missing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've met some amazing people from it, and the CrossFit staff, some of them are absolutely fantastic, really great to talk to. I did there was a big ego thing in there, I found where I wasn't pulled into the competitive side of it. I just didn't feel like it was a community that I fully embraced. So in terms of finding a mentor within that, I didn't fully submerge myself into it, because it was quite early on. I was I'm not going to be an athlete in this. The age I was, the strength kind of numbers that I was bringing in, and we were a bit late to the party, really.
Yeah, and I didn't notice that for myself.
That goes back to that ego, right?
So I was thinking, right, fuck this, I'm going to the games, and then it got harder and harder, and I thought, maybe when I'm 40, and now I'm 41.
Now you've scrapped that idea.
It's gone.
Thank God.
The love of the dream is gone. I
God
just had too many. I'm not saying underlining issues, but I didn't focus on certain mechanics that would have taken me that next step.
That's as you touched on, it's as you said, the ego, or just the competitiveness and wanting to push weight, whereas Rich had the meticulousness.
He was a lot more wise with it. Yeah, exactly. He had that. I had that push and grunt sort of force into it, and Rich had that more. Right, let me sit back and look at the outlet. Okay, look further down the line. Where I was just thinking, I'm going to get there. Just by pushing hard.
Yeah.
But you never believed in wholeheartedly in the CrossFit model, so you started your own. So what's the message that you, your brother and Caspar always wanted to bring to the table when you opened your gym? Because eventually you found a space, and here we are now.
Yeah, I think we tried to take the positive, because it's brought, first of all, everybody in the fitness industry has rethought what is fitness. because of CrossFit. Like it's not.
It's had a massive stamp on the fitness world.
Yeah, there's no denying that, and I think the original principles that were pushed through from what CrossFit was meant to stand for, it was more like how the box and the speed of the growth, like, and then the dependent on the box owner, how they were going to run their gym. That for me, like, kind of ruined what the methodology should have been.
And that's where we see the big thing is the methodology and the games became two separate entities, didn't they? And then obviously we see all that crap go on with Greg Glassman last year and push it out. But I understand exactly what he was getting at with the methodology and where it's got lost in transition. It wasn't meant to be a sport.
No, I mean, I think if you look within it, there's obviously like individual disciplines within it. So your gymnastics, your weightlifting, powerlifting as such, and then the monostructural kind of like conditioning. It's bringing all of those things together, which is great and like never been done before. But then you drop someone into that and you're just scaling stuff, and that's where I just started to see like you can't just like give someone a banded pull up, or you can't take the matrix of a workout and then just adapt it, like, and then think that
just so they could do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and so we
you got to earn to do that workout.
Yeah.
And then that's where we can look at the long road of it.
And also, I just felt like you, as a gym owner, you got to stand harder behind. Like, it's so easy just to scale something and just write one program, but as a gym owner, you've got to know your membership better than that. So that's where our like tagline came from, like train smart, live better, is because it's like, look, just think about what you're doing, and then by thinking about what you're doing and how you're doing it, is it supporting the lifestyle that you want outside of the gym? And then if it is like you want to do CrossFit and you want to like understand it's like you're saying a sport, then it's like, okay, what are the steps? Like you want to go skiing, like you don't just like head to the black run. You want to go and play golf. You don't head straight to the golf course.
Exactly.
Like let's create some steps and respect that process to get out and do it.
It's like if you wanted to play Premiership football, you can't just go, right, I'm going to sign up and go in.
We start grassroots.
You've got to work your arse off to get to that spot, and that's what and I think that's where. Look, don't get me wrong. I love CrossFit. I still coach CrossFit, but I see many flaws, like you say, from the floor of working with people who are vulnerable to fitness and strength, because they're just sometimes it can be a bit rushed into certain things. And you know, like I came from a bodybuilding background, so I had a great. And we look at it. If we look at it in America, it's where it started from. Most people are strength training in school.
Yeah, their strength and conditioning programs are in all their collegiate sports, like from a young age.
Are pretty good.
Yeah, it's unreal. And
so they've got.
I think there's so much positive from what it opened up, and
But then you
like
start to see that you could work on more of an individual sort of profile.
Yeah, so we'll help people in a group sense in the same manner, just with a little bit of a different spin on the ethos of CrossFit.
Yeah, so before we went to the service offering that we've got now, we created two programs. We created a move program and a train program, and the move program was like let's learn muscle contractions, let's learn motor control, let's build up a base before we start even we're not even thinking about any intensity at this stage. It's like, let's get in the gym consistent, let's have a good experience, walk out feeling like you've won, rather than being like, oh, you can't do this, so scale it.
Here's an option. Here's 10 options.
It's a negative mindset.
It so is, because if you keep having the same person coming in, you're scaling them. How is that lifting them up as a person?
And they're paying the same money as a person that's not scaling.
And then then I see some people just go, well, I'm never going to do that, and I'm like, why? Why are you never going to do that? You've already talked yourself out of it. It's so true.
Yeah. I guess at the start of the CrossFit, because it was such quite a niche thing, like you got people with backgrounds like you two had played sports, whereas towards maybe like years further down the line when you've had a well-established gym, you started to get more beginners in. And did you see that like ebb and flow through it? Like
That's what I mean. That's the shock. That shock happened when I started coaching. Because I'll be honest, I went in with like, I'm going to just be coaching people like me, like, and there'll be and that was the initial shock. I was like, oh, like this is like not. I mean, I wasn't completely like stupid to the fact that there'd be people of all different experiences coming in, but I was taken back by where if you were to like take the average strength and kind of conditioning standard of people coming in, it was way below what I was expecting. Kind of going to what you're saying about how people think they need to be fit before they come to the gym. Like I also had that like kind of perception of that's what was going to happen, but then like I saw that as the positive. It's like no, you can make such a big impact on helping these people and changing their lives. Like the profound effect you can have on them through giving them a positive experience, giving them like positive reinforcement, letting them know that like this is great what they're doing, and just building that person up and seeing them smile, seeing them like lose some weight, seeing them gaining confidence. That was what I like fell in love with, and then it kind of like again like going back to like how like it was all kind of like laying out in front of me or playing out in front of me. I was just like, this isn't set up in the best way for this person. Like they're doing a huge thing here by like putting themselves in a vulnerable position, committing to the financial costs. Like they're doing a lot on their part. They deserve better than what they're being given here, and that's that's
the ethos you built the gym around.
And it's like what, like my brother was a huge part in it because he was
So now you're on your own.
Yeah,
and you've got obviously you've got Omar and you've got Ben here to support, but there was three of you to start with. So there's your brother, we've not really mentioned, Mark.
Yeah,
who was, would you say he was a big part, heart and the soul of it to get it going?
The mind.
The mind.
Yeah, he was the mind. I was the.
What brought us? Like us three to
well,
this.
Yeah, well, I brought you in.
Oh yeah, you brought me.
So like Rich, obviously when we had had the other Free Aces in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Brought me in. I was coaching there with Mark, and then obviously we needed another coach, and I brought young Benjamin.
I was second. I do remember this. I was second choice from you.
Yeah, second choice, but the best choice.
Oh yeah.
And so and then obviously now Mark's moved abroad with his wife to America.
Yep.
Caspar's now left.
Yep.
Now you're on your own, and I think what we've got to say on here as well is the struggle now from. So the thing is with CrossFit is that you pay a fee yearly, don't you? And that's pretty much all your advertisement done with them. So that brings people through the door, doesn't it?
To an extent, like
to an extent,
loosely, right? People just walk through the door because of it. Right?
Yeah. But now,
it helps in your Google.
But now we've seen you obviously transition that, so you not with CrossFit's not on the door anymore. So now you are, but we went into a pandemic at the same time, so that must have been pretty tough.
Yeah, it was a shock. I think the first one was like holy shit, like being forced to close something that been open every single day for 5 years was a big shock, and just like looking back at it, like unknown, but also in times of adversity comes like opportunity, and that's what I decided with. At the time it was just me and Caspar. Then that's when we like made the decision. It's always been on the cards, like to switch to an ID in, so which.
But before that, you changed, like I think it was like the January, didn't we? We spoke like it officially happened. You took CrossFit out of the name. You didn't renew your membership. You changed to a training gym. So that in itself is like a big step because you're going away from a corporation into just like an island. You're your own gym, even though the gym had been standing for almost 6 years.
Just want to point out to people that don't understand what we're going on about, what Rich has done here is ID, meaning that you still pay your gym membership, but you're now getting a program that is now suited to you to actually move you forward into the world of fitness. So it's ID. So it's like you come in, you'll have your workout, but your workout is specific. You've had your consultation, they've gone through your assessments. So now we can see what you need and how to build you into, rather than just going, what we're saying, what we see with the problem with some CrossFit classes is that you can go in there and sometimes you could probably hide yourself away from the coach's eye because you'd feel embarrassed to be saying, oh, I need this or need that.
You said you have to scale everything.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, like you said, ID was something in the mind for a long time. Like what led you into like getting into a focus and like honouring the individual, as you say.
It was 8 years of conversations with people saying, I've got this, or I want this, or I don't like this. And how can you answer someone off of one program?
You can't change it in the class.
You can't make everyone happy.
You can give them information that you've learned, but then it's up to them to take it away and do with it as they wish.
And that's another thing I've found. Like, I give hours of my time like talking at front desk about someone's individual problem and how like, oh, try this. But the buy-in wasn't there. They didn't go and do it because they weren't paying me for that. The actual like buy-in of like accountability to like what I'm going to go and do what you said because I'm paying for that service. So yeah, it's just like stuck in this loop of like not being able to please everyone on programs, even though as meticulous as we got with them and how thought out they were. And I still stand behind like how good those programs were. Like they did exactly what they said on the tin. Injuries were like near on non-existent in this gym. Like if they were,
people were getting better year on year.
Yeah, we're like building people up big time in here, but just still getting that knockback of like, oh, I want this or I want a bit more, and you start pleasing one side, and then like it was like whack-a-mole kind of thing. Like it's just it's never ending. So it came from like for me to be able to stand there and say, I can do anything and everything that you're asking to help you. It's this business model. This is the service offering, like, and it also unlocks the full potential of the coach, because this whole time my knowledge is going up, and the people I'm around, like you're putting things together, and it's like training's like this. It's like you start learning like about the lifestyle practices, like all these things that make a way bigger impact on how you can influence someone's life. And you, like doing group training, you're coaching with your hands tied behind your back. That doesn't matter what anyone says, you are, because you can only do so much. Whereas you start working one-to-one with a coach, it just opens it all out.
Over the years, both of you and I've seen it from my coaching. It's like you get like maybe it's like that 1 in a million person that will like not like cause people listen, but actually go away and implement those things because they want that change and they realise the bigger scope of it. But that's like a 1 in a million. Whereas actually now the model is like everyone that comes through the door, you know that you can help make these real world change or bigger change than just giving them some programs.
There's people out there that have changed their life off of a group training program, and I like. I'm aware of that. I'm not saying that it doesn't work.
Yeah, we're not saying, oh no, it doesn't work. It does work. But if you look at, say you've got 100% of that class, it could only be working for 20% of them. They could be getting the real benefit, where the others, because and we're not talking because of there could be a mechanical breakdown in some of the movements. There could be mobility issues. There could be motor control issues. There could be
sleep outside, all the outside.
Exactly. There's so many things to go in to make it work. Where if you are working on the one-to-one, and then we're confining, Rich, say you're my coach, I go, shit, I've got a lot going on in my life, my head is fried, then you would obviously set a program that's going to taper that and do the opposite. So if your life is, like I say, intensity and fire, the last thing you're going to do is go, come on, we're doing fun today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to say with ID, is the perception of you can get the most out of everything. It's because the saying I always say, it's like you come in to better your life in that hour, but then you've got to do 23 hours to better that hour. Do you know what I mean? So it's a connection between.
Yeah, it's an anomaly of whether it's going to work or not.
Yeah,
it's
you know, you can be in the gym and do whatever for an hour, but if you're not putting the protocols of your lifestyle to suit that, it's not going to work. Simple as that.
I think the good thing about the coaching and honoring the individual, it's a lifelong journey, and that's rather than just like coming to classes, wanting to get better at this, that, and the other. There's always things that you can change and mold, and that's like, it's completely different, or not completely different, but to hear it from your mouth more than anything, because you're the one that's had this in your mind for a long time, like where you see it standing between the group class, between the personal training, but you get the merge of everything, right? It
meets you wherever you are in your life, and it starts building you to what your goal. I think that's the other important thing, is where your goal is. A lot of people have a goal, or they think they have a goal, but it's based off like, well, everyone in the gym's doing these things. Like the most common one is like pull-ups with women. Like it's the number one thing they say they want.
Yeah.
But do they really want it, or do they just want it because people are doing it in the gym, and they can't do it, so therefore it becomes a goal? But like when you start stripping away the layers, I'm not talking about all, but like they could potentially just want to feel more confident in their body, away on holiday, and sleep better and have better energy. The pull-up doesn't change their life, but they think they want the pull-up because they're in an environment where
very good.
So it strips away the noise and gets people aligned. That's for me what starts to happen. You start like just quietening things down, and it's a process of like building a stronger connection and relationship with so coach to client, client to coach, and it builds in alignment, which is so rewarding for the coach, obviously. But then what you see in the individual is they just start stripping away the layers. And what I've noticed the most is people that were switched on to it, the people that you wouldn't hear a peep from. They come in, do the session, you try and get out of them, but there was always someone louder in the group that was overpowering them. So they come in and go, those people now that have switched over to ID, you know more about their families, you know more about their interests, like they're opening up, they feel more a part of something because they've been put at the centre of it. And
rather than being that fringe person who hides at the back of the class.
Like I say, it's easy to hide in a class, man.
Yeah.
Easy to hide.
And so just to explain, like, just for people, like we've explained the understanding of what individual design is in terms of a coach-client relationship. Like, what does it look like when you enter the gym? What's the gym like now?
It looks the same.
Right. Hey, I painted the front. Man. Don't forget that. It took hours. But.
No, the plan is to bring in all the works bodybuilding machines. That's the long-term plan.
We're lucky enough that our owner at St Albans, we've now created a basement of purely. So the basement in CrossFit St Albans used to be pretty much Sweatfest. Groups go down there throwing down with wads, where now it's a strength and conditioning facility. Yeah. Take it away from CrossFit now. It's like, if you want to improve on some boundaries now of strength and range and flexibility, that's where we're at. And I think you're going to see a lot more CrossFit gyms go into that. And I think the more of the newer CrossFit gyms open up, I think you're going to see your traditional CrossFit setup, but then you're also going to start to see your bodybuilding blend of some leg press and some hack squats. Like, come on, let's be real. Like, you want to start getting someone strong at squatting, and getting them on a hack squat is going to really help start pulling their barbell squat into place. And leg extension machines and cable machines and isolating muscle groups, because we are when we started back in say 2011 2012. I remember back then it was basically washed up athletes coming into it because they found another competitive drive. It's like, right, I'm done with my sport, but now look what I found. I can compete and further along that range of competitiveness. Where now we're seeing, we're seeing fresh newbies coming into a world going, I want to do CrossFit from scratch. Yeah. But then they're getting thrown into too much high intensity, too much of it in the week, and too many complex movements. They've just not got the base for. Yeah. So it's like trying to say, no, let's build you into more of a strength base sort of way.
It's gone full circle.
It's gone full circle,
It's gone from functional is a new thing that everyone has to be doing to, actually maybe we should do some isolation stuff before we do the function.
Been going around in history of strength training for years.
Where I dropped down bodybuilding and moved away from the cable flyers and went straight into, and then all I was doing was a frontal plane barbell I did lose a lot of strength over the years. I can see that now because I wasn't keeping the muscles stimulated enough with certain movements.
And I think also like a lot of the people that, or a lot of the athletes in the CrossFit world that people look up to, they only post their lifts, whereas like there's accessory stuff that they're doing in the background that the people weren't seeing. So it's like, no, I don't need to do that. It's like I don't have it. Like, never trained any athletes, but I'm sure that like the accessory work was in there for them. Like even if it's disguised in warm-ups or cool-downs. Principles, huh?
Well, I know that of top athletes had several coaches. So they would have a lifting coach, they would have a conditioning coach, they would have, they had coaches. They didn't. Some would just have a coach who's maybe very, very all-rounded, and again broke that all down. But we know they worked on all those disciplines on their own. It wasn't just about Metcon. It was disciplinary. Like I need to get strong. I need to get fit. I need to improve on my aerobic capacity. I need to improve on my gymnastics. So they would. And I think that's what they don't get shown enough of. A lot of people just think it is entirely about doing Metcons, and then once they feel like their general once we see in the group classes is once they plateau, they then look at what's going on, and then they blame the programming and they go, it's the programming that's stopping me go forward. So I need more. There's not enough of this now. So then that's when we see them jump onto a generic program where it's got much more high intensity, much more volume, and then we look at that person a year down the line and they're a fucking mess.
All you've done is gone from like one thing that you have to scale to another thing that you have to scale to another thing you have to scale, and it's like there's always a common denominator in life, and it's you.
I mean, I did it.
I've done it.
I jumped on a comp program. And
Something new?
What was it? I did it.
Was it JST?
No,
I think we done. I remember one I done was Invictus when it used to be free. When it used to be free,
it was Invictus.
Invictus.
It was Invictus. Yeah, I forgot what it was for a while.
And don't get me wrong, they were very good programs. But
I just shouldn't have been doing it.
No, exactly. It's not that the program didn't work. It worked for someone who has got all the bases and has got incredible movement. One thing we take away: efficiency and consistency in moving well is what will give you the outcome of the goals you want in CrossFit. But if they're not working and you come across a movement, I don't like that movement because that's where it is.
I got knee tendonitis and I couldn't even do an air squat. I was in so much pain. And that's a whole bunch of other stuff happened after that, but that was like that was the undoing.
What happened, Rich?
Just broke every bone in my body.
How, Rich?
Not from CrossFit.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're not going to go into it. But I think that's where like the motto "Train Smart, Live Better" is all about. Like, is like that
lessons learned, mate.
Lessons learned, but honouring that smart approach for it, and everyone's going to be at a different point, but you can. I don't know, you did as much as you can in the group class to make accommodating to everybody's need, but as you said, like the only way you're going to truly help each individual is make it individual. That's the key. We are individual.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like being in this industry now, like 8-9 years. I think I'm now at a place with it where I just sit with more confidence on being okay with what I believe, but ultimately whatever someone finds and does and enjoys, and like that's the main thing. Find it, enjoy it, and if it adds value to your life, carry on doing it. And there's loads of different service offerings out there. There's loads of different people with different drivers, different goals. So for some people, like, it's purely a social thing. As long as it gives you back what you want. But my thing is, if you're paying as much to the physio as you are to your gym membership,
something's wrong.
You need to ask some questions.
Yeah.
It's just I think listening to your body, because what you do in the gym should supplement your lifestyle out of it. And if you're waking up in pain and you can't go and do something because of your training,
I have to second guess something.
Yeah, then your training's wrong. Yeah. Your training shouldn't make you feel like that. And then some people like exercising, but no, it's exercising, it's not training. And that's fine, but like when you start like breaking up all these different service offerings that are out there, I think it's all good when they're just transparent with, well, this is what we do. Like some of them are closer to entertainment than they are training. That's cool, but like then don't come into the conversation on like training. You're not training.
Just I think that's you, as you said, it's kind of like staying in your lane. You've got confidence with where you are, where you're at, and what you do here. And I think I probably phrased the question wrong about what this place looks like, but it's like the kind of, you touched on like some people just want to be part of something community, and that's what you've tried to ingrain here with the model. Because like ID is not just like you come in and you're on your own and there's no one around. It's like you're in a group model. There's like-minded people around you. You've got an on-floor coach, so you're tying in like that group and individual approach, and then that social element with the stuff that we plan on doing outside and have done. Yeah,
so still keeping the community feel. It's assigning yourself or assigning the client to a coach, which again for me is like the power in the service. Because if you're a gym owner, you want the coach to feel like they play a integral role and they're fully valued. So if you've got that responsibility of like, this is my client, and I'm going to work with them, get to know them, and like I can express, like I say, all the knowledge that you've obtained and continue to learn. You're able to use it. That's the first thing, first and foremost. That relationship there is so special. But then in terms of the client coming in and what they experience, it's a gym full of people with the same kind of like-mindedness as them, like going in there to do the work that's going to make them better. And we've got the lifestyle, like hike club, cycling, surfing, all that stuff going on to get people together and able to express their fitness in a lifestyle elements. So I think it's early days for us still, and we can't ignore the fact that the pandemic has hit us. Like we lost 100 members.
Well, you decided to change through the pandemic, which is like you said, a bold move to change your career back when you were like 30. But it's an even bolder move to change a business that is kind of got a bedrock to something that's completely different. Like the UK hasn't really seen ID. They don't really. Because
there's pockets, like obviously OPEX, where we've done all our learning.
Yeah, I think OPEX is the one who brought this into contention first, didn't they? Like, and if you don't know what OPEX is, if you look at which games,
2007 games winner James
Fitzgerald, who won the CrossFit Games. He has now
the forgotten champion.
The forgotten
champion.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Not from the OGs. He's not.
Well, not the OGs, but any of the old pictures, he's like just disappears out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
really? Is he?
Well, no, it's like Rich, Graham, Holberg.
No, they came after him.
No, but I'm saying like
Tommy.
If it's ever a picture of the old
games,
Miko Salo. What happened to him?
They've disappeared because they weren't wearing Reebok.
They got cancelled
out now.
Well, it's Noble now.
Noble now.
No one wears Noble. Oh, sorry, probably people do. But it's like OPEX is the.
They're the ones who went off and really certified the ID identification. Like here's for lifestyle. Here it's for sport, and it's down to you to talk to your coach and go down that route what you want. And that's what we're saying. So we're not. This whole conversation today is not going against CrossFit gyms. It's just saying that you found a way that you could deliver it better to people,
and you're passionate about it.
It's and there's a load of other people with like my principles towards training out there as well. Like you say, like the OPEX gyms running exactly the same model.
Yep.
But it's my beliefs because at the end of the day I have to lock up and feel like
so
I'm pleased with what we're giving people. But yeah, it's like I say, like there's great stuff still happening in other places as well, and I still stand so proud behind what we had as a group model here.
And that's it. I think and it's like what we're doing. So obviously I'm still coaching CrossFit and I love it, and that gym will not be an ID gym because it's set in its ways of a CrossFit way, but we're giving them a lot more variety of things to do in the program. So we have got, right, here you go, you don't have to do a Metcon, you can carry on this class with accessory work, so you can carry on down the strength protocol, so we can split that up. And I think you give them more things to do, then you can
and what we like, going back to what Ben was saying about doing it in a pandemic, we felt like it was the perfect time to do it because not everyone's coming in and training with each other. We started off offering like home workouts that we were kind of doing. I think it was Instagram TV or something. Instagram Live. Zoom. So we started off doing that, but then we're like, hang on, like we can really level up what we give people here. So we lent the equipment out and wrote individualized programs for every member. Consult calls, lifestyle support. We were like, let's like show them like
what they can get and how much more they can get out of their training.
So whatever, like people had some shoulder stuff, like there was extended periods sitting down, like loads of like different like types of niggles people were picking up, and it was like, well, let's work on that. Let's take this time to do something. Let's not just jump around in our living room doing a million air squats. Let's do some productive work and show what that that service offering can kind of how it can benefit you. And it was an easy decision for me to make the switch. On a personal level, it was a hard one because I knew we'd lose people. I knew we'd lose a lot of people, and ultimately, like I cared about every single member here. Yeah, so it was hard. It was hard to see them go, and we had a lot of like gym Zoom calls, like addressing it, answering questions. And one of the members gave me the feedback. I asked him how the video call went. Like they feel like the video group, it was like a town hall meeting but on Zoom. I asked him how it felt, and he's like, it felt like a breakup. And I was like, it actually did. It was tough, but I think what was in my mind was the evolution of myself, the coaches, and the business. Because like you bring a coach in, you're encouraging them to learn, and like for me that's the beauty of this industry. Is like, okay, you've learned movement, you've learned how to coach some lifts. Okay, don't stop there. Let's keep going. Let's keep this going.
It's endless.
And then it's like it allows them to stay with you, and you to be able to encourage that. Because for me, like what I was seeing in a lot of other CrossFit gyms, and we've always been lucky in how long staff members have been with us, but the churn rate in a lot of gyms of people either not being able to earn enough money, or that was another. It was like it's business at the end of the day, and I cared about the people that were in the gym with us, and it's like I want to be able to say I can offer you a career, and it's like that career comes from being respected professionally. The decision was pretty easy in that sense to make.
But it's the only way is up.
The only way is up, and like now, we're not saying that all the gyms are going to do this. There's many CrossFit gyms that are really successful in what they do. Like where I work was very successful in what we do. We're just giving you an outcome of someone who's been a CrossFit gym transitioning into an ID gym, and like you say, it's down to the person. There could be people who are quite happy just to turn up to the CrossFit gym because they just want to sweat and turn up for the community. Hey, got nothing against that. But for the people that, furthermore, that we normally see happens quite a lot, that person wants more, they want this stuff, then we know there's just a little bit more of a approach to it with the ID and moving forward.
As you said, it's a development,
and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more. Well, we are seeing gyms now that are opening up that have nothing to do with CrossFit, but we know that they're running pretty much CrossFit protocols. They're just not giving CrossFit the money to say, "Hey, I'm a CrossFit gym," but they are pretty much, as you say, the functional word gets thrown around. It's just functional fitness now, which has been around way before CrossFit.
Yeah. Just called different things.
It's just called different things. And it's like the message is there. If you want more, get a PT. If you're happy to be in group settings and you're happy with where you are, then hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If it's making you achieve better in your life, and like you say, and not making you fucking broken so you can't get up and play with the kids, that's not better in your life. That's such a good way of saying it. Like, if you're at home and you're exhausted because you're fucking doing Metcon daily after day, it's not better in your life. Like, let's get it right. Yeah, most people go to the gym because they don't want to be a superstar athlete. They go because they want to lose a bit of weight. They want to feel better in life. You want to feel a bit more like, for me now, having kids, definitely for me is the point where I still want to be able to bend over and play around, jump on the, all the climbing frames, be that super dad jumping around, and that for me is the most important part of my fitness raging. My goals are completely changed, so I'm not thinking of CrossFit Games anymore. And even though I'd still dream about it.
I think that's the...
Maybe the 50s.
That's the
65 counts now there is.
Oh, I see the other day, the oldest one now, 75.
Mate,
doing box jumps.
Keep going.
Now, I've got a chance. But the only thing is, all these athletes get older with it. I came in at the wrong time.
You need to travel ahead in time to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just the athletes or the clients that can find something. As you touched on, Rich, it's like the coaching as well. If you're a coach, the amount of, like, you got to find something that makes you as passionate as you are about ID, and like I'm part of the model, and thankfully like kind of gone with the gym with you, and you've like been, both of you have been a mentor for me in a sense. But it's not from a coaching perspective, it's the same. It's like find the thing that makes you passionate and makes you get out there and want more and more and more, because it's easy to
I think it's definitely knowledge base, whether you're a coach or client or someone looking for someone looking for a gym. It's just levels of consciousness. So if you don't know what it is you need to know to get what you want, you put your trust into the fitness industry, and it's kind of pot luck. You're either going to have a great time and like, great, that was great for you, and then whatever it is, you start doing that for a bit, but your learning and your levels of consciousness and your like adaptation will, like, hopefully if it's good, will obviously go up. But then you hit a new level, like you break into a new realm now of like understanding of like, okay, well, I did that, here's what I learned, and here's the next stage. I just feel like, for like me personally and us in what we're doing, we've just broken through those levels.
Well, we've had the right people, the right coaches, the right mentors.
Yeah.
As I said, like when I started, it was like with Tris and Ben, the other owner, and then just like work through that, and then he's the connection to you and your brother and Cass, and like the things that you've shown me. It's like, you just got to have the right people at the right time. Sometimes that's just like the natural ebb and flow of life, as you said, but also at the same time you got to know, kind of be mindful of what you want, and you're just going to get pulled in the right directions, and things are going to come at the right time.
That's it. If you're I'm a true believer that if you're thinking on one pathway, you will find other people in that same pathway and connect the dots and lead to other people. Because you're all looking for that same thing. I'm a big believer in that. It's definitely it's been. When I can look back at it, like, to me now, it still feels like we've just got into CrossFit. I find it hard now. I think, wow, I'm coming on 8-9 years into it now.
longer.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
probably
longer.
9 years since you did your level one.
When we got into CrossFit, it's 10 years now.
Yeah.
So being into it 10 years, and that's a decade of learning and still learning, contributing to it and making it better. Because my main goal is, if someone comes to me, my main purpose is I want to make them feel the change.
Yeah, in passing all that on.
Yeah, passing it all along, making them get the right stuff and not having to go through what I had to go through,
Yeah.
which was slamming metal bars
And that
like a lunatic.
yeah, dude, like, just, yeah.
I think the all coaches
yourself.
have been through like some.
I'm sure there's
stupid-
many people who can go, yep, I've done CrossFit like that for many years, thinking that was it. But there's more to it. It's very complex. There's more to it. And getting the right coaches, being in the right place. And it's, like I say, it's down to you to find a PT, find an ID box, or be happy in
in the group.
You know,
class.
sometimes-
or spinning or whatever. Or
yeah, whatever you want.
football, recreational, hiking. Like, there's something for
Zumba.
everyone.
Zumba
almost, as
still-
long as you're doing something.
Zumba still going?
That's
I
probably
saw some
Is that
Zumba in
done?
the park the other
Yeah,
day.
some
that
Zumba.
was some prams and Zumba.
And
It's,
we've got- what's the new things now? F45. What's that one? Is that?
I was going to say what we're talking about anyway. I'm not going to say that.
No, but I think it's just asking yourself what you want to get out of it, and yeah, for me, if you're enjoying it at the start, that's a big thing. You got to enjoy what you're doing. I think there's a perception out there that, I need to start training, I need to post that I almost threw up, and that means I'm
Get fit.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be that.
No, it
have
doesn't
to be
have
that way.
With everything, it's like in every field. Yeah, oh god, I've probably seen the video of Musk talking about it. You've got to enjoy what you do in everything. So,
And
and
but that means there's certain people, if they enjoy throwing up,
hey, that's
I'd rather do it from beer.
yeah. I was going to say it normally comes after a night out.
not gonna stop you. If that's what you want to do it.
I think the
If it's making your life better,
Right.
then do it. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to say.
if it's hurting you,
it-
probably stop. Probably
Yeah, if
like, come
if
to
your
understand
fitness
it.
goal is ruining your lifestyle and
or your
then-
lifestyle and your fitness.
yeah, it works both in hands.
I think the last thing, Rich, is like, what's to come for the gym? Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to take yourself as well? Like, where
Sorry, what do you mean?
like where do you want to take the gym and like yourself personally, individually, in like the next 3-5 years outside of the pandemic?
Yeah, so for the gym, it's just building it back to obviously a different service offering, but building it back to that same hustle and bustle it had previous to the pandemic, and also it being, I know this is very cliche, there's a lot of gyms out there that say it, but being more than a gym where people just come and train, like seeing it like people meeting up outside to then go on trips together and like all that sort of stuff. So yeah, big into that kind of lifestyle community side of it. Yeah, obviously like the financial security is the big one to kick things off, to secure the longevity of it. But personally, it's everything's still a learning curve. I apply the same principles to myself that I use with my clients. In that I'm trying to make myself better every day, like as a person, physically, mentally, like learning, and there's the business just adds another dimension to that. So yeah, breaking it into two buckets, like coach and business owner, is enough to keep me entertained for now. Yeah.
You gotta keep me and Omar in check first.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out more on what she's doing here, just get onto Instagram and free
Aces training.
Aces Training.
Where are we?
We're in South London.
Sunny South London.
Sunny South.
Sun is always
So
out
if
down
you
here.
want to look more into it and see what Rich is about with his gym and what goes on here with young Ben as well, then check that out. And if you want to inquire on anything, and let's see if you live local enough or you want to pop down and have a chat, then Rich is always door is open, shall we say?
Yeah.
For more people to come in.
You're happy to give advice to anyone that's starting out.
That's
Like,
it. Even if you want to reach out and advice, or even if you're another box owner, and because we did see, touching on it quickly, that once Greg Glassman did leave, and there was the thing I got annoyed about was how all the athletes were like, right, boycott CrossFit and leave it. So basically, that just made me feel like, well, if I just walk away from CrossFit, what have I got? You know, because I'm into that. But that's another subject. But if there are any other people out there who are thinking, because of the last year, right, I'm thinking about moving out of CrossFit and going, then hey, get on to Rich and ask him how he's done it and what it's about. And because I know there's a lot of, I know there was quite a few boxers who did leave last year, wasn't there? So who signed out of CrossFit.
Yeah, it's a bit knee jerk, wasn't it?
Yeah,
knee jerk reaction.
Yeah, it was, but I know there's probably some people waiting for their membership or whatever to finish, and then they're going to go solo anyway. So if there's anyone out there who wants any questions, if you do come across this podcast, fire away to Rich. He'll help you out and give you good direction onto that. So I'm going to leave that in last words. Anything left to say for you, Ben?
No, personally, where do we find you, Rich? Apart from here, always, and the closest pub.
Like on mine.
Yeah.
I'm not very big on social media.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, still reach out to you personally.
Yeah, You can
So it's the same. Rich at Free Aces
Rich
training.
Rich.
Ben at Free
Rich at
Aces.
3 Aces. And then email is rich@3acestraining.com.
Yeah, so you can all get through onto that email. And if you want to talk to me, hey, you can reach out to me if you want to.
Tristan's always
know what it's about
you get them
throwing some hardcore barbells around, then
smashing
get on to
some
me.
wooden floors, some laminate.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Going to leave that there for this week. It's been a nice long one today.
Yeah. Thank you, Rich.
No, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Rich, and showing people that there's, you know,
more to training than just
training than just a pool of sweat and breathing fire out your arsehole. So we're going to leave that there. Tune in for the next one, guys. Thank you.